Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking all about how to legally protect your business. Now, before I continue any further, I do have to give you the disclaimer that I am not a legal professional. I'm not an accountant. That is not my area of expertise. So I'm just going to be speaking from experience and what I know. Always consult with a legal professional or an accountant to really actually help you set up your business. I just want to give you a couple of anecdotes and talk to you about how I have protected my business. Now, this stuff might seem a little overwhelming at first when you're first starting your business, and it may not seem that important, but it is one of the biggest steps that you need to take in legally protecting your business baby and protecting the things that you are working so hard to create. And it might seem even very expensive and confusing at times, but I promise you these are things that you should set up absolutely immediately, because listen, I learned the hard way that I didn't have everything set up correctly in the beginning. So first, I want to talk about setting up your business. So when I first started in the business world with my photography business, I set up as a sole proprietor. And that is typically what seems like the easiest route. You can do it on your own. You don't really need a professional to help you. And it's essentially an extension of yourself. Again, I'm not an expert here, so I'm not even sure if I'm going to get all this terminology right. But I know what happened for me is that when I set up as a sole proprietor, I put myself and my assets, me as Amber, I put that on the line. If something happened to me in business, somebody could personally sue me. So in effect, I had to have higher insurance and I had to make sure my contracts were solid. And there were so many other things that I almost wish I hadn't set up as a sole proprietor in the first place and just went straight for an LLC. And that's what I did when I started A Creative Co. is that I have an LLC with a DBA. I have an overall holding company. It's Amber Romero Holdings and a few DBAs underneath. That is what worked for me. I did have a professional accountant set that up for me because in all honesty, I was so confused on how to do any of that. And I wanted to make sure that, especially here in the state of Florida, there were certain things I had to file with the state, certain things I had to file with the county. And when I first set up my business, I lived in a different county. So it's one of those things where I just went out and I actually did pay a professional to do it for me. I'm not saying that you couldn't do it on your own. I just realized that the amount of money that I put forth to pay that professional, the amount of time it would have taken me to do things correctly, it just didn't balance out. I was ready to cough up that good chunk of change to have this person do it for me and make sure it was done right so that I knew that my business was protected. I knew that I was protected. And the amount of time it would have taken me would have been ridiculous and I would have been very confused. And you guys, I went to school for business. Like I literally studied that in college and all of this stuff was so confusing for me. So I would consult with a professional to see if it is more beneficial for you to set up as an LLC, as a corporation. Later on this year, I will probably be switching to a corporation just due to the nature of taxes and what I have going on in my business. But an LLC is always a great place to start. It just stands for limited liability company. And essentially people can't come after your personal assets if something goes wrong in your business. Next, I want to talk about protecting your online reputation. So this is where I learned this the hard way. For a really long time, I didn't have terms and conditions on my website. I wasn't putting disclaimers and statements saying that, I might be receiving commission because this is an affiliate link. And nothing bad had happened to me, but I had people start to reach out to me like, hey girl, this isn't right, or that you're not protecting yourself here. You might want to do X, Y, and Z. Otherwise, the FTC or somebody could come after me. And yes, it's all a learning experience. And again, check in on your business and see and make sure if you are ever collecting any kind of information from your customers through your website, you have to have terms and conditions. You have to have these policy statements, disclaimers, no guarantee or guarantees and things like that to make sure that they know that you're a professional and you're not misusing their information. B, you can't get sued and you're not violating any laws. And C, it's going to help you avoid ridiculous legal fees and costs if you do ever run into trouble. So this can look like anything from if you're collecting email addresses from an opt-in or some kind of freebie, terms and conditions must be there. A privacy policy must be there. On Instagram, when I promote a product and if I might earn a commission, a very small commission on it, I have to disclose that to my followers to let them know, even if it's not an ad or if it's not sponsored, I have to let them know that I will earn affiliate commission. So no matter your business, make sure you're looking into all of these things to protect that online reputation, to protect your business, especially if you have an online business that you're collecting money from customers through an online forum. Make sure you're looking into the legalities of what you need to be doing. And this leads me into my third thing, contracts. So if you're a coach or if you're a service provider, even sometimes if you own a product business, you are going to run into some kind of scenario where you exchange goods and services that you are going to need a contract with that other person. And listen, I'm the kind of person that I would rather have control. So I have a contract for every scenario in my business, whether I'm working with a small business owner or I am providing some kind of content creation services for a brand. But essentially, you always want to protect yourself. You always want to protect your business, and you want to have clear expectations in the beginning with a solid professional contract. And now listen, I've been there. I've done that. Whatever you do not Google a contract template and copy and paste things together that make it look like you know what you're doing. I did that in the beginning, especially in my photography business. I did not have the money to cough out for a lawyer to draft me a contract for every scenario that I needed one. I just wasn't in that place in my business, and I thought I would be fine. And, while again, I never had anything bad happen to me, I never had anybody go out and sue me, I did have instances where expectations were unclear with certain clients, and I did lose out on money. There were a few times when, especially here in Florida, as a photographer, sessions would get rained out. And at one point I had one client where her session kept getting rained out. And I had already collected a non-refundable deposit from her. I didn't state that it was non-refundable in my contract. And at one point she's like, whatever, we can't get this session done. She wasn't unhappy with me. It just didn't work out in the time that she needed. She's like, can I please have my money back? And I tried to tell her that was a non-refundable deposit. And it kind of not blew up in my face, but I ended up giving the money back because I didn't have any legal standing in my contract. So it's not only to protect you as a business owner, it helps set clear professional expectations between you and the client. And then again, if a worst case scenario happens, you have a legal document to fall back on. And yes, this sounds expensive, but you know what's even more expensive? Getting sued. So what I would like to recommend to you guys, this is my go-to resource, is Coaches & Company has contract templates that are lawyer approved, legally is free, plug and play. You can get them done in like 20 or 30 minutes. They also have some terms and conditions, privacy policies. They have everything. Anything that I've mentioned here, they've got it. And listen, I don't have the time, money, or energy to deal with an actual lawyer for my business. So these contract templates and these privacy policy templates work perfectly for my business. And I want to give you guys that resource. So make sure you guys head to the link below and you can purchase them for your own business. There's everything for coaches, service providers, product-based businesses. There's literally anything and everything. So again, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, yes, feel free to ask them to me, but I will probably point you to a resource or a professional to actually help you, because again, this is not advice that you should take. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. Always seek out a professional. I just wanted to speak to you from my experience, and hopefully you can learn something from me and get your business legally legit as fast as possible. Other than that, I will see you guys next week.